This is a Behringer tube compressor or tube composer and limiter. It has 2 channels. It is model T1952 with ultra tube circuitry, made in Germany, I believe. I bought this used off eBay for, I think it was $130. I'm only using channel 1 right now, and you can see the interactive compression basically, because the microphone's hooked up right now. You're not actually getting the microphone signal right now in the video. Towards the end of the video, I'm actually going to let you hear the compressor as it is. So basically, I have it hooked up with a Y cable in the back here, which you can't see, but I'll try to put some demonstration photos. It goes from there over here. As you can see, now that I'm talking, I'll get closer to my other microphone. As you can see, the green right there, that's my, mixer. And I'm only using 1 channel on that as well, obviously, before it goes right there into the audio interface. So the chain basically is, we have a tube compressor, but I actually am singing in to the mixer. It goes into that Y cable right here. This is the Y cable. Okay, and it goes into the back. And then obviously it sends the signal right back into here and then over into the audio interface. Anyway, what do I think of this thing? Well, for the price, look, anything under 200 bucks, you can't complain too much about, because in the world of compressors and all this other business, things are sky high. They're thousands and thousands, Vintage analog tube gear can fetch as much as 10 or 20 grand for a single unit. So at 130 bucks or whatever I got it for, which, like I said, I can't remember, I consider this a steal and a deal. Under it is the Compressor Pro XL, and although I used that for a long time, I feel like this thing is a lot better. This unit is much louder. My gain over here, I want to point out basically that on each channel, channel 1 and channel 2, you can turn up your tube warmth. When you turn up the tube warmth, it definitely gets a little bit louder. There's not a massive amount of loudness to it. What I would say is you can really hear the warmth of the tube. What I mean by that is the tube has this like vintage crackly plate electronic sound. It's very hard to describe. It's almost glassy. Well, not surprising, tubes are in glass. I don't know if there's any relation to that, but it's a very glassy, platey-like sound. That's what I noticed. Like I said, I'm using channel 1. So we have threshold, we have slow release, we have fast release, SC Mon, which currently, as you can see, it's off. I don't use it. And then the SC EXT, the interactive or the hardening, SC filter, and you can also turn SC filter off. The first compression ratio knob over here is a 1 to whatever compression ratio, and there's a second compression ratio which is blank to 1. So 1 to, let's say, 1 to 6 or 4 to 1. So what I was normally using down here on the old Compressor Pro XL is I would turn it right here to a 4 to 1 compression ratio, because that's about the amount of compression I like when I sing, maybe a little more. I haven't experimented quite a bit or quite enough yet with this thing. Okay, so moving on. And then as far as we have the attack, your milliseconds obviously from 1 to 150, the auto versus the manual. And you can definitely hear a difference between your auto and manual when you turn the auto on and so on and so forth. Again, we have the release knob over here, and then the in and out. The in and out actually correlates to the output knob. So, for example, I at least understand this much. This is 0 here, then plus 20 decibels, minus 20 decibels. I have mine on coming in, and I have it turned all the way up to 20 right now, just for the sake of getting a feel for the whole thing. And if I put it to out, it's going to send that extra 20 decibels out. But what I have coming in seems so weak. That's why I'm using the in and the up button. Anyway, you can see, as I'm going to display here by talking closer to the microphone, you can see this one and this one. You can see them move because those are the two that are on channel 1, and I am using As I said, I'm using channel 1. We have the actual power button over here, and you may want to let your unit warm up as tubes sound better when they are fully warm. Okay, so this is going to be a recording using the Behringer. So here we go. I'm going to try to sing a little. Yeah, I kind of suck at singing, so best I can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have broken up for good just an hour before. And I'm about 5 inches away from the microphone. Okay, now I'm going to unplug it. We had broken up for good just an hour before. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in right now. Okay, so it's plugged back in right now. My settings on using channel 1, I have the warmth turned all the way up, so it's definitely, it's doing something. It's doing its job, I hope. The compression is set at 6:1 right now, so that's a decent amount of compression, in my opinion. So, you know, you can hear me talking. The interesting thing that I notice about it is it's very rich. I would definitely say you can hear the tube, like you can hear the effect of the tube way more so than comparing it to the Composer Pro XL that I was using a while back. Is this the preamplification or just the gain that you get out of this unit is pretty awesome. At the actual tubes, if I can get some focus going on here. Okay, so you can see the 2 tubes there. Sorry about that. You can see the 2 tubes there. They're all lit up and so on. And getting a little bit closer to get some macro shots in here. So, you know, I'm talking right now. It's interacting with my voice, although that's not what you're actually hearing on this. Is the analog gauges, going back into them here. Sorry about the little bit of blurring. That's my lens. But the analog gauges, I really enjoy watching. You know, when I get close to my mic, as I'm quite close to my microphone right now, you know, you can see the gauges moving quite a bit, just like you can see the LEDs moving. I mean, they're moving together. Just over here on the solid state mixer, obviously you can see the LEDs going up and down the closer and farther I get away from the microphone and so on and so forth. If you have any questions, please feel free to you know, ask. If you want to add to the forum or conversation, go ahead and add. If you own one of these and you're the master of it, dude, please leave notes. I mean, don't be a dick when you're doing it, because like I'm trying to point out in this video, I do not know everything about it. I'm reviewing it on the basis as something new that I just came into ownership of and so on and so forth. Nowhere am I claiming in this video that I am the tube master, etc., etc. So please, I welcome people having an open discussion about this piece of equipment, whether using it for guitar, drums, vocals, keys, sound effects, whatever it may be, etc. Thanks, have a great day.